help me understand that the constitutional debates, there were some, I hear some really big scholars, including rooted in Dharma. All of these nuances were not part of the debates that time, and was their view also very English and very.
So think of, I'll give you an example. It's an example that many people find slightly difficult to digest. So when you say people rooted in Dharma and they make this argument, I'll give you an example of people rooted in Dharma.
I don't know how else to say it, but yeah, please.
So I'll give you an example exactly of this. And what I'm trying to describe is how a mindset exists today. Okay. That despite we thinking that I am a dharmic person, how my mind is set in a certain different context. Right. So I'll give you an example. There is no doubt that today our state is run by the BJP, or there's a BJP government at the center. There's a ultra-right Prime Minister. Most people will say, I know that you may have a slightly different view, but you'll say that Hindu Prime Minister. Yes, so clearly Hindu, wear Hinduism on a sleeve. Come the pandemic, our Prime Minister functioned on the basis that we have one life to live and that must be preserved at all cost. Okay. He did not accept the truth that the Hindus will live multiple lifetimes. Yeah. So what I am trying to say, and that was also civilizationally, regardless of how dharmic people were, we ran around as if we came from a religion that believed in one lifetime.
This is a very important point that Anand is making, and there is a very highly viral short snippet of Professor Kapil Kapoor in conversation sitting like this, where he actually said, when Al-Biruni, if I'm not wrong, was traveling through India, and then he's writing in his diary, in his notes, he writes that these Hindus are very different from us in three ways. They don't lie, they are extremely proud of their knowledge, and he berates Hindus that itne proud hai, they're so proud that they think everybody else is like, ridiculed, inko kuch nahi aata hai types, so that lot of extreme pride. And third, that they're not scared of death. I mean, this is what he's observing widespread all over India, and he's noting that these guys are different from us in three ways. And they're not scared of death, not because we are throwing our bodies around, but because we know that we'll come back. So this is only a passing body. So sorry, Anand, just wanted to.
So it's not only we'll come back, that I am one of the coming backs. Yeah, I have existed before. Yeah. And I have lived multiple lifetimes. This is just one of those. Yeah. And I will live many more lifetimes. My question is, however dharmic, and you have met many dharmic people, how many people actually live their lives according to that principle? Yeah, sure. Do you actually function today on the basis that, think about the number of dharmic people that you have met? My point is, it's not their fault. The point that I'm trying to make is that over the centuries, and you could call it Kali Yuga, we have lost that sense of we are in a transitory life. That is not our reality. We talk, when we say dharma and dharmic principle, we are thinking modern day law. So our understanding of dharma is also, you trade the English word law for dharma, which is not the truth. So dharma is a lot bigger. Dharma applies across your lifetimes. There is no concept of justice in that clear sense. I'll give you a completely different perspective in terms of, and we don't normally think like that. All Hindus will say that, vast majority, unless you're slightly more Charvaka or left oriented, you will say that God is omnipresent. An omnipresent God means that God should exist even in evil.
Yes.
God should exist in the plunderers that came to India. The act of plundering and destroying the temples was also an act of God. Yes. But we don't actually think of it like that. While on the one hand we say that God is omnipresent and everything is God and everything is Maya, but or everything is Shiva or Brahman, whichever way you might call it, but it's not our reality that the plunderer was also part of divinity. We
Because the common language is that, oh, God is on our side, and all sides say the same thing. Muslims,
Correct.
for example, keep saying nothing moves without the wish of Allah. Then why blame Hindus? Everything is with the wish of Allah. He's
Correct.
only whacking everybody around.
Correct.
Why-
So while this concept exists across the board in various religions,
But this is not our concept at all, actually.
but that is not our concept at all. Our concept would be, and here people not agree, so there will be a lot of challenge to what I say now,
Of course, because it's become
is that it is my karma. It is a karmic debt. It's a civilizational karmic debt that results in this. It is.
That's
it
the
is.
best answer I've got to why we were plundered.
So it is debt. It is you. We are also part of the same Brahman. And what we do civilizationally and what the rest of the universe does, or the world does civilizationally, plays out in a certain manner. It is that play. This is not a reality. So we don't think in these terms. We don't live our lives in these terms. When we are critical of somebody, we are not thinking like that. Let's say if I talk more in tantric terms, I'll say that Shiva is the potential energy. That's not, and Devi is, or Shakti is the dynamic aspect. Devi's movement in Shiva is what creates us. She creates the good and the evil both. So they are just manifestations, they just get created on account of our existence. And therefore evil is also Devi. Now we are not thinking like that. And I would say that it's not that we should start thinking like that. I am saying that there is also the reality of all of us. So Devi is played out in a manner that each of us believes that
which
we
is
are
the
doing,
Devas and
etc.
Asuras, all of that actually is part of our. But we somehow have been trained to think that Asuras are the other and outside and somehow not part of the conscious
Are
of the
evil.
creation.
Our understanding of Asura has also become very Christian in its orientation. So we good guys and the bad guys. And not sort of, we completely tend to dish examples of the so-called bad guys also had lots of good guys, and the so-called good guys also did a lot of terrible things.
I mean, I believe Shankar Bharadwaj was telling me Surya Siddhant was written by an Asura, I forget his name, I don't recall. But I mean, some of the biggest scholars of the texts that have been written have been what is classified in Asuras. I don't fully
The
understand all
greatest
this.
Bhakta of Vishnu is, if you take Narada out of the equation, is Prahlada. Lots of people in India are named Prahlada. So you're named after an Asura. So this is the construct in which we have been operating. This is the construct in which, however dharmic we are, this is the way we look at it. And therefore, I would say that a lot of our perspective today, and that is the way the state operates, that is the way the courts interpret what is there in the constitution and the law, is in this construct of our material real world.
Yeah.